We are delighted to start our 26th year on the air of education exchange with Diane Schumacher, the head of the curriculum instruction and assessment in Iowa City School District. I just want to say that this is the third episode this year. We started the first episode on the 30th of August, where we held a forum for the candidates for the school board at the public library. It was more than 1 hour. As a matter of fact, it's about 2 hours, where we asked questions in this program. And this was followed by 2 other forums on September 9th with the candidates talking about their hobbies and their other side that has nothing to do with the education part. Just what they like in their real life, what kind of music they hear, what kind of dance they watch, what kind of programs, films, actors, actresses, books, and so on. So it gave the viewers an idea about how the candidates in their own homes behave, other than being in a rigid forum talking about curriculum and about diversity and all these issues. So this would be the third, officially this would be our third this year. And we have you as the first top administrator in the district to be here with us today. And it's my pleasure, before you start being grilled here, to introduce my co-host, Emma Wallace, a talented young lady, and she is here to give us new life to this program. It's kind of blood transfusion.
Great.
So, welcome to our program, Emma. And,
thank you for having me.
I would like you to say something, and maybe you start the questions with our guest.
So yes, I am Honey's new co-host. It's a pleasure to be here. And I have some experience watching children in the preschool system here in Iowa City. And I'm also a nanny myself, still currently watching kids who are in the preschool system here in Iowa City. So Dr. Schumacher, if you would feel comfortable giving us just a little bit of the history of the 4-year statewide voluntary program, and then just some of the options that are available to kids in the Iowa City School District.
Certainly. So we, for years, have offered preschool in the Iowa City School District, as all districts across the state, for our early childhood special education students. But in 2007, the state offered an opportunity for school districts to apply for a grant to offer voluntary 4-year-old preschool for all students. And really the purpose behind that was to provide equity of access for students. So no longer was it preschool only offered to families who could afford private preschool, but we were able to offer preschool to all students, regardless of income, because the state could provide the funding and the parents wouldn't have to pay. So Iowa City was able to write a grant and get that accepted, and we've been offering free 4-year-old preschool ever since. To be a part of the grant, you have to be able to provide a certified teacher, which we do. You have to provide 10 hours or more of instruction, and we're roughly between 12 and 14 hours a week of instruction that we provide our students. You have to keep a 10-to-1 ratio, so 1 adult for every 10 students, no more than 20 students in a classroom. And then you also have to follow the statewide creative curriculum and assess students using the GOLD assessment. So and probably one more thing, you have to have a strong parent involvement component, and that's critical, we know that. So we've been able to offer the preschool. Space kind of constrains us a little bit. We have some of our elementary buildings that we just can't find a room to put a preschool in, but we have rooms right now in 14 of our elementary schools that allows for students to be enrolled and then participate.
It's about 70% of the schools have
right,
this facility.
And participate in free preschool. In addition to that, we've got some partnerships that are going on. So we work with the neighborhood centers to also provide some support for those preschool centers. We work with Shared Visions One of our preschools, we actually can extend the day. We have parents paying tuition to keep their children at school longer than just those 12 hours. So we have some cool partnerships that we've developed within our district. But then we also, as part of the statewide grant, the state really wanted to recognize that there are some excellent private preschools in the area as well. So we've allowed the option for private preschools who would like to meet those same requirements. So the certified teacher, the 1-to-10 ratio, the assessment, the curriculum, all those things, they can also take part in the statewide funding. So we have some partnerships with neighborhood centers of Broadway and Pheasant Ridge, with Stepping Stones, Handy Care, and this year Frog Hollow jumped on board. So we can take state funds, help support their programs at their buildings as long as they're accepting students in, and not charging them for that preschool. So we've really been able to expand access to preschool and take away that barrier of income.
How do you staff your preschool personnel?
Sure. So all of our, like I said, all of our preschools can have up to 20 students in a classroom. So they're all required to have one certified teacher and then at least one paraeducator to have that 1-to-10 ratio. And then some of our preschools that also maybe serve some special needs students might have additional paraeducators to help support the special needs students. All of our preschool teachers are certified in general ed preschool and in special ed preschool. And the whole beauty of this model, I think, we have our special ed students who are integrated now. Where years ago, we had the special ed students and the gen ed students were all in private preschools. Now we have them all come together. So our special ed students have really positive models in the other students, and really they all kind of learn together and accept each other.
So anyone who applies for a job there should be certified?
Yes, you have to go through, it's the same teacher preparation program, and you have to have a certificate in early childhood special education.
Since when this system has been?
Since 2007.
Only because
Yes.
when I was in service, that was not really a precondition.
Mm-hmm.
People who are having experience, having willingness, and they like to serve, they would be accepted. Certification was not essential at the time.
And that was part of the grant.
Yeah.
So if we were
Okay.
going to participate in the statewide grant and receive statewide funding, that's one of the requirements, is you have to have a certified teacher.
Okay.
Because the quality of preschool is important for our students.
You would take the second question?
Yes, so if you could just further on explain kind of like what is the purpose of preschool? Why is preschool so important? And if you have any like personal data or outcomes that you would like to share as somebody who's
Sure.
been in the district for so long, you know, give us a little bit of insight as somebody who has some experience.
Right. So the purpose of preschool is really, the purpose of the statewide preschool, again, is to provide equity of access for all students. And the purpose of the preschool then is really to get kids ready for kindergarten and ready to learn. So we really look at the students as they're coming in and we meet them where they are. Primary goals are really cognitive and social skills. So the cognitive skills really focusing on reading and math, language, kind of pre-reading skills, pre-math skills, language development, looking at social skills, getting along with other students, being able to wait their turn, those kinds of things, behavioral skills, being ready, able to follow directions, and then also just play skills that we work with students, and then some gross motor, fine motor skills as well. So there's really a broad array of reasons that kids can come, and sometimes I know people might think, well, my child knows the alphabet, they can write their name, they can count to 20, they don't need preschool. Well, there's so many other things that we learn in preschool.
Socialization.
The socialization.
Communication.
Yep.
With each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The whole idea of
Having fun.
Yes.
yeah. When you're in your family, you may get your turn first all the time. You might be the only child or, one of two or three. So just that whole idea of turn taking and not always getting what you want, and maybe having someone take a toy from you. How do you handle that? How do you process that? So there's so many skills to learn in preschool.
Problem solving.
Problem solving skills,
Exactly.
yes, definitely. Communication, language skills, all of that we're able to enhance through our preschool program.
So Emma and I were thinking about moving you from the preschool now to the older age
Sure.
group, which is secondary, post-secondary.
Sure. Can
But-
before we go there, can I say a couple
Yes.
things? Okay.
And I still
You
have
got
one
another question too?
Yeah.
All right. Just as far as,
If
you
you
had
allow.
asked me for some
Can I do
outcomes.
Yes.
You had,
Well,
asked, you had asked me a little bit about outcomes. So we have been trying to grow our preschool. So we have right now, this year we have about almost 100 more students than we had last year. So that's fabulous. We're still only serving in our district about half of the students who come to kindergarten through our preschool programs. There are other private centers around the area who do a fabulous job as well. They serve about another 300, but we're still only seeing, as the students enter kindergarten, about 72% of our kids having had preschool. So we know there's a gap, and we know there's still 300 kids out there that aren't getting preschool services who we really want to reach. So I think part of this program and part of the reason I'd like to talk about preschool is really to try to encourage parents to sign up now. If you have a 4-year-old at home and they're not attending preschool, come to one of the elementaries, come to the Education Services Center and get them signed up. It won't cost you a dime, and we'll get them in a preschool because we have room for them. And we've also looked at our results. When we look at kindergarten students as they come into our district, we test all the kids on their pre-reading skills, and we see that gap between kids who came to preschool, where they score, and kids who didn't come to preschool, where they score. There's about a 5% gap in our white and Asian students, but in our Black and Hispanic students, there's about a 15 to 25% gap. So we know that those are the kids that it really is going to impact, and those are also the kids that we're not seeing as many of enter our preschool program. So we're really looking at trying to find ways to get the word out, get people to come enroll in our program, and also try to start to address the barriers. Why are people not sending their kid to preschool? And what can we do to try to address
Like
that?
most of these programs are free, or
They are all free.
Are,
Yep.
are free. So a lot of the, I feel like even just hearing this from you, a lot of that seems to be the fact that people don't know and have that
Yes.
this is accessible to them. You
Right.
know.
Yep, and we put signs out all summer long, free preschool, come apply. So we're just hoping again that people take advantage of this wonderful program that we have to offer.
So you have already addressed the question that was in my mind, and I'm not going to ask it, of course,
Okay,
because
all
you
right.
already answered it.
Super.
So now let us move to the post-secondary, right?
Yes.
So what do you have for us?
So if you could tell us just about a little bit of the purpose of the Senior Plus programs.
Sure.
Advanced placement, and what are some of these programs and what they do for the kids that are in the school district.
Right. So when I asked if I could come on the show, I really thought about, when you think about the Iowa City School District or any district across the state, you think K-12 education, kindergarten to 12th grade. So I really wanted to focus the show on what are those bridges? How do we access kids before kindergarten, preschool? And then now I want to talk about how do we help kids move on from 12th
Transition.
grade, the transitions really. So how are we transitioning them to college? So again, college opportunities have been around across the state for many, many years. But again, about 2007, 2008, the state really had the push for equity. So students who were able to go to college again were those who could afford it, those who had parents who were maybe pushing that. And we wanted to, across the state, provide equity of access for all kids. So all kids should be able to have access to college opportunities. And we provide those now, again, free of charge, through the school district. So very similar to what preschool offers. So there are many, many, many different ways that kids in our high schools can earn college credit. And we have students leaving our high schools with 3 credit hours. We have students leaving our high school with 30 credit hours. So there's a whole
Makes a
variety
big
of ways.
difference,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what are some options and how kids can maybe access those. So the traditional one that we're very proud of, because our kids do really well on our advanced placement courses. So Iowa City has had some of the top scores in advanced placement. We have a lot of advanced placement courses. We have 21 different options, different course options for advanced placement that that students can take. So for those courses, teachers have to go through a special training in the summer to be able to offer those. This is curriculum that's really designed around a college level coursework. And they teach that curriculum all year to the students. And then the students, if they want to, can take a test at the end of the school year. And depending on the score of that test, colleges may accept that for college credit. So we have some of the highest rates among the state of kids taking advanced placement courses, also the highest rates of kids taking the test at the end, and the highest rates of kids who are getting a score that's a passing score that is giving them college credit in advanced placement courses. So we've got some in reading, math, science, social studies, art, music, and world languages that kids can, through our high schools, get college credit. So that's one of our options for kids.
And with the opening of the regional Kirkwood University of Iowa Center
Yes.
at Oakdale
Yes.
location, how did this affect the process?
So advanced placement is one option for kids. And then as you said, Kirkwood Regional Center, Kirkwood Community College, has provided up a whole nother option for kids. So now we have students who, instead of taking advanced placements at our high school, can actually go to the Kirkwood Regional Center and they can take college courses there. So they're getting college course credit and they're getting high school credit for these courses. So students can go there and take academies. So they might go to Kirkwood Regional Center for an entire morning, and they may take courses in engineering, or they may take courses in electronics, or manufacturing, or nursing. They can kind of choose the academy that really interests them, and they can take a whole array of courses and get college credit and high school credit for those. And again, we pay for those. It's all free of charge for students. So they're getting really the opportunity to access college courses while they're still in high school. So that's another option. They can also take at Kirkwood courses that aren't part of an academy. So maybe sign language, we have students that want to take that. And it's a course we don't offer in our high schools, so they can look through the Kirkwood course catalog, find a course that interests them, and they can enroll and sign up for that course as well.
How about vocational training?
Definitely. So a lot of those academies are vocational training, mechanical, transportation, nursing, electrics. Yeah, so
Because
there's quite a few of
kids
those.
can get the skill and
Yep.
find a job after that.
Yep.
Not necessarily going to 4-year college.
Construction.
Right.
So a lot of those academies are centered around that as well. And then we also have, Kirkwood allows us to teach some courses on our site that allow Kirkwood credit. So all of our Project Lead the Way courses, our engineering courses, principles of engineering, sustainability, those courses we offer on our site with our teachers that also have gone through the training. So kids don't even have to leave our campus and they can get college credit just by taking the course and passing the course. They don't even have to take the advanced placement exam at the end. So they're getting that as a college credit too.
So do you have something else you want to ask Dr. Schumacher before?
Oh, you pretty much answered all those
Yeah,
questions
you-
that I was thinking.
One more option that we have for kids
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
is the University of Iowa. So I mean, how great that we have that in our town, right? So we have kids as juniors and seniors, or if they're in advanced coursework, if they qualify for talented and gifted services, they can even start as a freshman. Kids can go to the University of Iowa and enroll in courses there and take coursework and again, get college credit for that. And we also have the University of Iowa offering on our site Intro to Chinese courses. So we've got Chinese 1, 2, 3, and 4 that are being offered before school starts, so it's kind of an early bird course at our site at City and West right now. And kids are enrolling in that, again, getting college credit and being able to leave our high schools and having, like I said, they could have a year, 2 years of college out of the way, all paid for by us. So again, equity of access for students to be able to take these courses.
Well, when you were here last year, we hosted the every given child.
Any given child, right.
And I know that the coordinator moved to another state, and you hired someone else now.
Right.
So tell me how the process just an update for our audience
Sure.
about the Kennedy Initiative.
Sure,
and all that.
right. So you're right. Debbie Yarrow, our coordinator, her husband had a job opportunity out in Sonoma, so they moved, and she said they've been really battling those fires that have been out there, and that's come very near their home. So
That's what will happen to you when you leave Iowa.
there you go. Should have stayed close, right? So we were able to hire Regina Bailey, who is our Any Given Child coordinator right now. And Debbie had a couple things rolling last spring, a couple new initiatives, and Regina's just kind of picked up with those and ran. So 2 exciting things that have just happened this fall. We partnered with the University of Iowa, and we brought all of our 4th graders to Voxman and to see the symphony orchestra there. And it was a wonderful performance for our students. They had music selected that just captured the interest of 4th graders. They had ballerinas there that danced to the Nutcracker. They had a soloist who was a former West High student, vocalist. They had a soloist violinist who was a former Lincoln Elementary student. They had, of course, their symphony. They had the harp. They had the organ playing. I mean, they had just everything in this wonderful 40-minute performance that every one of our 4th graders were able to attend. So that was one exciting thing that we did this fall. And then the second is the Children's Museum in Coralville. They have provided an opportunity for every kindergartner to come out with their class. So we've scheduled those on a variety of days because we couldn't send 1,000 kindergarten kids at once. Imagine that. So we're sending about 50 to 60, a busload, out to the Children's Museum. And they are participating in a pirate experience, which is a language-based experience. The program coordinators have really worked with us to look at our standards in reading and language arts and provide an opportunity for students to learn about pirates and then kind of talk like a pirate, retell a story, that whole kind of experience. It's fabulous.
You have to be with that.
I know it. And then get to explore the museum as well. So kind of 2 new exciting initiatives that have just come up. So we keep looking at that Any Given Child program and just expanding and I think making it
When
better.
you go and take the kids there, don't forget to visit the mural that we did there. I did it with the kids.
At the Children's Museum?
Yeah, it's a huge mural about car race and all that.
Oh,
and
fabulous.
faces. Yeah, it's the biggest mural in Iowa City.
So part of their experience was to go through this pirate camp, and then part of their experience was to just be able to explore the museum and to enjoy
There's
that.
a lot of activities.
Yes,
there.
yes.
And the art room and everything. So it looks like we have a couple more minutes. Do you have any further questions?
Actually, I thought of one as we were talking just now. So since you've kind of seen this program like start from the beginning to the end, and even kind of what you just said recently about how you had an orchestra play with past students who got to play for future students. I remember when I was a kid seeing those older students like excel and exceed. And so kind of what have you seen, just how these programs have impacted kids? Like, have you seen, I'm sure some of these kids grew up in the district, like how much these programs really do improve the creativity and just the access of learning and to children, I'm sure you've definitely seen that. So.
Oh, absolutely. So we kind of pre-plan that Voxman experience. We have the Orchestra Iowa come in each grade, in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, and they bring a small ensemble of the different musical instruments. So kids are kind of preparing for that as they go through. Then they get to see this wonderful performance, and then next year in 5th grade they get to choose if they want to start playing in orchestra. So it's all that build up and that modeling and showing kids. The one song that they played used the harp, and one of the little boys turned around to his music teacher and said, "Dr. Fairfield, what is that?" And she said, "Well, that's a harp." "That's a harp?" Like he hadn't seen one before, maybe in cartoons. So just that experience, like that's what that is. It just got them so excited.
The mind. Letting it see that there's another world out there.
Exactly. It was exciting.
This has been a delight having you tonight, and especially with our energetic co-host.
Yes, very much.
That is wonderful. And we would like you to come again at the end of the school year to tell us more about the update of the programs and how things evolve, as well as the other aspects of the curriculum instruction assessment work that you are doing.
There's a
The
lot
next
going
time,
on.
probably we need to talk about assessment more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
To our viewers, this program, the Education Exchange, is always on public access TV. You have to see the listing to know the time, but I'm sure every weekend we are back to back, you know, so this will be repeated a lot of time on channel 18 cable. And if you don't have channel 18 cable, it means that you are a little bit sophisticated and have MediaCom, all these things, so you go 800 and other numbers, you know, but you can find us even on the MediaCom box. And then we are on channel 21, that's the education channel regularly. I think they have their, again, system of scheduling the program. But we always, sometimes we are in the morning talking more to the parents and informing them, and sometimes we are in the afternoon. I think the program that usually airs in the morning is repeated about 5 o'clock till 7 o'clock. So we're covering a lot of the cable channels.
Wonderful.
So you will have enough of us. Maybe you're not going to have enough of Emma and our distinguished guest. And tonight we thank you very much for a wonderful first show in our 26th year on the air. Thank you and have a very good night.